My name is Jennifer Watt-Sampson. For UniSA, I did postgraduate in rehabilitation counselling.
Ryan Neville, I studied Visual Communications Honours and now work as a graphic designer.
My name's Shalara and I'm a first year PhD student here at the university, and this is Nina, my guide dog. Hot tips for getting a job. I think talk to family and friends, network, find out what's happening out there, get into volunteer work. I think also the other thing that I would say is to ring, it's a job ad and you're looking at that and you've got this long list of dot points about all the criteria. But I would actually ring the actual agency or the business and say, can you tell me what a typical day looks like in this job? And as they run through things, you can think to yourself, yeah, I can do that, that fits with job place modifications, that bit I need to disclose my disability for, etc. So you actually know. But when you get into that interview, you're actually able to sit there and say, my understanding of the job is, and how I can do this is. And you're actually showing that you're very prepared for this. You're really confident, disability is not an issue.
Well, when I was first applying for jobs as a graphic designer, I never really disclosed I was in a wheelchair. And the only time I really disclosed that was if I got offered an interview, then I'd ring up and ask if they're wheelchair accessible.
My disclosure generally comes when I'm actually in the interview process. I mean, when I go into a workplace, it's obvious that I have a disability. So it was a matter of being able to actually put that employer at ease and be honest and open with them. Now I can actually tell employers that because I actually have a disability, that gives me a keen awareness of occupational health and safety, because I need to ensure that I'm safe in the workplace and those that work around me are safe. And I think that's a really positive thing to know as a person with a disability, is what you bring.
Me, I have a vision impairment, so I can get away with a bit more in some ways. I don't think I need to disclose my disability necessarily in an application. I may need to disclose it prior to an interview because they might ask me to do a written test or something, so I need to be prepared to be able to do that.
I was actually going to these jobs, I was putting in these applications, but I wasn't getting anywhere because I didn't have any work experience. I couldn't actually show the employer what I had been doing, that I could work effectively in the workplace.
Volunteering while you're studying is a really important part in getting a job. It proves to your future employer that you're able to do the actual bits of the job that you say you can do. Rather than saying, I'm sure I can do it, you actually have evidence to say, look, I've been doing it for 6 months.
Being graphic design, there's not a lot of, there's small studios, so a lot of them are, 2-3 people working there. They're normally upstairs, above a pub or in small home offices that aren't wheelchair friendly. So that was the main difficulty, I suppose, in finding a company that was either big enough or in a modern office building that was wheelchair accessible. But I would say, just because they don't have access at the time, don't let it stop you applying, because they might be really willing just to, make it accessible for you.
Workplace Modifications is a program that's government funded that you can access after you've been enrolled with an employment agency. It means that an assessment's done on the future workplace. We look at what sort of equipment, what sort of software, what sort of tools, whatever you need to be able to do that job.
My knowledge on that process was really valuable in actually pushing that forward and helping to educate the employers. So really, really valuable for a person with a disability to be up to speed with what's happening and how the process works, to actually make that happen for themselves.
When the interview says, well, how are you going to do word processing? You say, well, I do it like everybody else, but Workplace Modifications will pay for me to get this program put on the computer so that I'm able to do every part of the job. So that really opens a door. They will take you on board because you're not going to cost them anything. You're actually going to be an asset rather than a liability.
And it's been a good investment for my employer. You just have to ask them and they will tell you that I've done amazing things because of what I brought to the role, and how pleased I am that over time employers have been able to actually see me and what I bring. Yeah.